Hello, YouTube. Just wanted to showcase the new deck list that I've been running in the starter deck meta. The new tech card that I've been including basically. Blackrock Dragon Twister, Teach played it a little bit in the last format. And so far in this format, I've actually found it to be pretty useful. We'll see as the meta progresses and everything. Real quick, what it does, you just have to flip the top card of your life face up. So basically, in this deck, that basically means if you activate one, you can't activate another unless like you take that life or heal that life first, because you have to turn the card face up. Um, but you do that for the cost, and then if your character has, if your opponent has more characters than you, basically, not less than or equal to, they need to have more. You can KO a 6 and a 5 cost. So I found this to be very useful in the Mihawk and Red Green Luffy. And it's actually helped me against the Nell a decent amount too, because all I've seen on the ladder lately is Mihawk, Red Green Luffy, and Enel. That's all I've seen. I don't remember the last time I've faced any other deck. Um, but yeah, the card's been performing pretty well. Obviously, Enel can play around this with very late game, but like, it's really just Pink that they can buff out of range that would be affected anyway. And like again, this isn't for Enel, so it's like whatever. Um, and then Mihawk and Red Green Luffy, they could technically play the 2Ks. So if that becomes popular and becomes like annoying, then maybe we take the card back out. But for now, to see how the meta develops and how it is right now, this card's been really good. Um, I've actually, I don't. This doesn't really rank. Never really means anything, but especially when it's like a special queue because people are still playing standard. Um, it doesn't, but I was technically able to reach rank 1 with it, so that's dope, I guess. Um, but I think this deck is just very still okay, just not as I think losing the Nami matchup in the Teach matchup, from what I can tell, is unfortunate when we get to just replace them with two somewhat 50-50s, basically. Um, 44-19. What do I see? Yeah. Obviously, I never, these stats are never fully accurate. I don't know what they actually are, but it's like probably somewhat indicative of the truth. Right? I'm like beating Mihawks a little bit more than half the time. Same with Red Green Luffy. Um, I know. I think I think I'm beating more than half the time, but I think there was one guy who just actually knew how to play the matchup, and then he kept winning dice roll. I think he played like 4 games and he won 3 dice rolls, and I won one game. I won the one game where I won dice roll, and he won the other 3. So, but for the most part, still beating most of the Nels. And but if they're good and win dice roll and draw well, of course it's still bad. Um, but yeah, so I figured I'd just showcase some games quick, using this card. Unfortunately, when you're at the top of the ladder, basically, you always just find the same people whenever you queue. So unfortunately, all these games are against Mihawk and against the same guy. Um, but I mean, he is decently high as well. He's like number 9 or something. This hand, honestly, I'm greedy and I mulligan for 3 costs. But like, arguably should keep this hand, especially if I'm testing this card. But the hand's really good aside from we just don't have a play on 3. So I mulligan, because I'm greedy. Um, into a worse hand, for sure. But we have Sokka at least. And we won dice at least, so. Also, I'm still taking first into all these decks, but I'm not 100% sure it's correct. I feel like there's a chance you want second into Mihawk and Red Green Luffy. But I'm just not sold one way or the other. Oh, and real quick, one thing I did want to say before we get too far into it and I forget again. I do normally preach that I hate events, like event removal. Like I always say I don't care if they grab blade me. When I played Dofi back in the day, I played like 1 grab blade at most. But in this deck, on 7 Dawn specifically, you can't. But like any other turn, you can still do this, and because of your leader effect, you still get to develop a lot of the time. So outside of 7 Dawn specifically, you still get to develop when you're playing this card. That's why I don't think it's that bad. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there quick since I do normally hate event removal. They play this Zoro. That basically means they're for sure just trying to Wano like draw, right? Still feels incorrect to just play the Zoro like that, especially when you have more. Like unless he just drew and top deck both of those, which I guess is probably what happened. Well, he did search the Kinemon, so he got Perona off of life for top deck. But even still, I don't feel like playing that Zoro is necessarily worth it. He just wasted a 2K. Um, Here we do find the event, which is looking like it's probably going to be our 7 Dawn play, assuming he goes Mihawk next turn. We swing 5 because we want to search with Kobe and then play Rosi Law and then search with whatever Kobe finds. Ideally Marine Ford, but we could still find a Rosi or Marine Ford or just draw into something, right? So I'm going to use the Dawn to search twice, ideally, instead of swinging bigger because it doesn't really matter. They take the first 2 to 3 hits anyway. Really want a Marine Ford. Again, I always say I need 11 Dawn late game to play this deck. And stage is what enables that with Sokka. Here... Yeah, we have 2 I love yous already. Just take our first Borsa. Another thing, if we have Sakamama, like we're still in a decent spot here, even if we don't hit both. But this also lets us like do this while staying high on Dawn, and it doesn't make us have Mama. Because a large part of the problems I was having before this card was if you miss Sakamama, their board could just get out of control sometimes. And sometimes they're resting their boards with their own effect to be greedy and search and everything, but a lot of times they are not. So if you miss Mama, it felt really rough. But the good thing is if you have the event, you can actually just counter with the Mama early. And it's like really, plus on hand, obviously. So I just Mama... I Mama before I take life in case I draw another Mama, because I'm down to Mama both of these. As soon as he swings this 5, I think I just take. You could 2K that as well, to be honest. I think it's fine either way. And then here, when they have no stage, I'm actually a fan of clearing their weenies. If they have stage, I pretty much ignore them. But when they don't have stage, I'm a fan of poking my leader and weenies at them. I won't waste like an 8K at them or anything, obviously. I'm also not sure. It says 6 and a 5 cost. So I'm not sure if it matters what order you click. Like if you click the 5 cost first, if you have to then select the 5 or lower. So I guess be careful and try to click the 6 first. I'm not sure if it matters on the sim, but it might. I've just been playing safe like that. We have one target here. We do see the Riplaw in life, which gives us the info that we actually really want to take this life. Because he has so many in hand, Riplaw is kind of our best way to get them out of his hand. And we don't actually have a play with our Sakazuki next turn. Like ideally we go Sokka plus a 4-drop, right? So right now, Riplaw would be that 4-drop. We just need him to swing so we can get it. But if he swings in a way that we can free block, I think I still take the free block, to be honest. Thinking another Mihawk Odin. Now we don't get the free block, but that's fine, like we said. Because now we just want to take. I think he actually ends up doing some weird shit here. If I remember correctly. Because here we are in a spot where we don't have another Mama. So we wouldn't be able to clear these unless we found like another event off the top of our deck. But the thing is, this Mihawk has an effect for them to filter. So a lot of the time they're putting this Mihawk sideways themselves just to get the filter going because they're missing something or trying to improve their hand. And they're greedy. Green players are greedy. Right? It just is what it is. It's a fact. Alright, so here at least that Zoro came up for him. He played another one. it came up for him, I guess. That's two 2Ks out of hand. I don't care. Here, kind of expect him to go 5-5. Um, he doesn't. He samurais. That's honestly fine for me as well. And then it's just a 7. We wanted to take anyway. We do have too many Sakas. Gonna do all our sequencing first. I don't want him to defend this law to play around this Mihawk to play around the Rip Law we have. So I rip 2 first and then spin 5 at it. And then if he still wants to give 3 cards for 1K character, it's fine. I'd like to go to 10 next turn, but I do think we have just too many Sakas. So I'm down to go to 9. Another thing about going to 9 sometimes is, even though we don't have Rosi Law right now, but technically if you have Sokka on board already and you're playing a Rosi Law next turn, like going to 9 is basically the same as going to 10. Because you'll get that Dawn back from Rosi Law anyway, and then still be able to get 2 from Sokka. I still don't have a Law in trash to get back with I Love You, which is very awkward. Alright, so here he Mihawks. I guess, I don't know what's correct on their end. Maybe this is fine, but sometimes they're like doing this stuff, and I guess hoping a free block so then they can just tell my Sakazuki it can't swing. I don't know. I don't know what's entirely correct. Yeah, they do this. Once they do this, I'm like kind of confused on what the rest of their Dawn is. I kind of just assume they're swinging a weenie, to be honest, because they've already leader affected, so they can't do anything else. They're not stunning anything, obviously. And he has 7 in hand, so I actually just block this 5, and then if he swings 6 with Winnie, we can just I Love You get the Law back to make it live next turn. And we can just stock a Whip Law again. Yeah, I think decent chance he's supposed to just not swing there after I block with that. But I don't think anyone's doing that, to be honest. Yeah, so we Sokka. Again, he has exactly 7, so we want to play the Law before we do any swings. Get the other Sokka, and then I think I just go 5 at 4 because I'd like to float both Dawn, just to be safe. I think we're in a very good spot to be safe. Could go 6 because I do technically have 2 blockers, so technically DMG can't rest our Dawn and both our blockers, so maybe should be 6. I just wanted to be very safe, but like technically that should probably be a 6 at the Mihawk. I trashed our last Sokka. It's honestly a little questionable to trash that Sokka, but because I had Departure, I felt like it was probably fine. Also because this is our board compared to him having 1 6K, I felt like if anything, I'm probably fine to just swing and play Borsas the next couple turns. Here he goes 7. I'm still, if he swings 9 or 7 or higher, like I'll just take it. As soon as he swings 7, this could still be a 6 technically, so I'll block the 7 to stay a little healthy, and then obviously I'll counter a 6 if he goes that. He does just end up going 9. Again, this is like perfectly fine for us. I didn't want to start 6 at the Odin because I'm trying to just, again, keep as much Dawn available as possible for this I Love You. Because I think we're in a very dominant position. And you could double Borsa here, but I'm actually very safe with how much counter I have in hand and him only having a Lon Beppo. So, okay, I do double Borsa. I thought I was going to Rosi Law there. I think my plan with this was I can just Rosi Law next turn. Potentially double Rosi Law, but I don't think I'm ever double Rosi Lawing, so I probably should have trashed Rosi Law over the 1K. And still, I think arguably should have been a I think it arguably should have been Rosi Law, but even still, double Borsa was fine in this spot. Both are probably winning plays, but definitely shouldn't have kept both Rosi Laws. Should have trashed one. Here I kind of zoned out for a bit. I should just counter 7. I don't know what the fuck that was. I should counter 7 for sure. And then leave that to block his 11. So ignore that play. That's just me zoning out and clicking a button. Which does happen. And here he goes 12. I think you could let this die, but I definitely decide to save it, which I think again, I think you're just so far ahead here. It doesn't really matter what you do, but I decided to save it. And then does this just to KO the Borsalino. Very fine with me. I think there's an argument to departure either of these, but I definitely lean towards the Shanks just because it's basically 3k counter for free, and it gets around a blocker that's not Rosi Law for free. So I just kill that and then 888. Um, and I'm not committing if he takes you. I don't care. Like I could swing 13 for game, but like, why? I'd rather keep developing. It still pretty much sets up lethal. Play another 8k. We can stage effect here for sure. Probably cycle the brick. So it didn't really make a difference that we kept it in hand one extra turn. If you do another brick there, it obviously would have. So I mean, then we can just kind of fast forward. But he just goes DMG for game. Starts 7. I know I'm never dead, so I just take. He leader effects goes 9. I can counter 11. Take counter 11. But yeah, I think the 6 cost was really good. When was it? This turn? We missed on 3, so we were already a little behind. And then goes 6-5. It just buys us an extra turn of stabilizing to make our Sokka the next turn even better. Arguably should keep this Mama. I know I said like this kind of lets you counter with the Mamas more aggressively, and it does. So like I'm probably in the future still gonna counter with. I honestly counter with Mama way more than I should because it's just free counter, and it's like I'm too greedy, and I just tell myself I'll find another if I need it. You shouldn't do that a lot of times. Like I should probably keep that Mama, but luckily he did turn his own board sideways. Even though he knew I had Sokka, so I think it was also a mistake for him to play it like this when he knows. I literally searched Sokka, I'm pretty sure. There's no way I hard drew all 4 of these. So, pretty sure I searched it way before I drew all of those. But yeah, definitely, I think counting with the Mama there was a little greedy, but it's probably fine one way or the other. Next. Some of these are a little shorter. And I'll just explain why when we get there, but still just wanted to showcase. I will say it's been a little rough trying to. I still say I'm not really a YouTuber, but I mean I have felt like doing it lately. It's just been harder after those last few videos I did to find more stuff to actually record, because it's actually quite hard to find a game on the ladder right now, and then if you do, it's just the same leaders every game. So like people asking for the mirror games, like I'm sorry, that's probably just not gonna happen. The mirror doesn't exist in starter decks. It rarely exists in fucking in regular 16 meta. It just doesn't exist in starter decks. But yeah, so I'll still try to upload every now and then, but like I am running out of quote unquote content ideas. Just like as stuff develops and updates. Like I said, or if I just have ideas. But like I said, I wanted to show the tech card today, so just pass. If we don't have Rosi Law by next turn or another searcher for it, we will. Again, I'm too greedy with my Mamas. I just immediately decide I'm okay with cycling it. I just really like hand advantage. And like being able to control the board works as hand advantage, but you know, I'd rather not take 2 hits or actually give cards too early. Here again, they don't have any they don't have a stage, so I'm down to control the weenies. And also when you do it like this, if they play, because I drew I drew Rosie Law, obviously. If I didn't draw Rosie Law, I am searching with Suru, unfortunately. Another reason why I wanted to counter with Mama. Because if I give a card there and search with Suru, like, I'm going very neg. Um, but once we draw Rosie Law, we don't have to play the Suru. I'm just going to play Law here. But the thing about Law here is I actually get the free block unless he wants to rest. He's either not playing a 5-drop this turn, or if he is, I get the free block. Or if he's or he's like using leader effect on the 5-drop and I get to hit it twice. And that's also very good for me because you can like, I already think there's probably a small argument to starve this deck. So this kind of works as which I don't do, by the way, but there's like probably a small argument to do it. But in game states like this, if it plays out that way, you do kind of get to starve them while getting cards out of their hand, which is obviously ideal. That's kind of why I like cleaning up the board a lot here. Odin is annoying because it means I only get to poke the Odin once. But I'll still do that, right? I'll still swing 6 at it, maybe 7 with my leader, then just play Rosie Law. Goes to Shigi again here. Like, it's a 7k, so he probably thinks it's fine, but I think he should just win 5. Because I'm taking this, and then I'm hitting this thing for 7 twice. I don't even have I Love Yous to float anyway. So I'm just gonna swing 7. I'm just gonna get cards early. If you're giving me so many cards this early, it's so good for me, right? And he kind of determines, like, again, I don't know what his hand is, but this is a mistake. He just didn't think I'd ever swing another 7, I suppose. But you should either be more than willing to give another card, or you should let it die in the first 7 to take the life. And obviously, if you're gonna let it die on the first 7, you just shouldn't put it sideways. So, like, he obviously misplays this, right? But a lot of this game is punishing misplays. This is how you would punish that misplay. Just hit it twice. If they give 2 cards, you're fine. You have so many in hand. They have nothing on board. They're going to have no hand. It's going to die like 2 turns max. Maybe next turn. Here they go. Mihawk Odin. Standard. Just going to keep punching me, I guess. He puts it sideways again. Going into my Sokka turn. Again, he could just rest his Dawn if anything. But he wants the effect to draw and rest. He still hasn't taken a life. Green players are very greedy. But again, this is like a sub meta, like a sub ladder queue. Obviously, most of the good players are probably still playing regular 16. But I mean, he is high on the ladder. Here, this event is actually dead. So I know this video is kind of showcasing this event. Shocker, this game is just a trigger, which is still good. I'm just drawing and filtering. It's not live into this board state, obviously, because we have 2, they have 2. We need less than them. Which I will say, when playing this card, you have to be cognizant of what searches you're using and if you're searching. Like, you can't just have searcher play searcher all the time. If you don't have the event, I still kind of do that. But like, if I have the event in hand and I think I'm probably gonna want to play it this game, I might hold back a searcher too. But then, like, all these decks, they do have infinite weenies to go wide too. So unless you get to 5, it'll still be alive a lot of the time. Because, like, Red Green Luffy is trying to go to 5 Dawn for, 5 characters. Like, they're playing all their searchers because they're trying to make their Luffy live to minus. This deck is trying to have a bunch of characters for the Wano search event. Draw event. So it's just generally been pretty decent. You just have to play a certain way with the card is the thing. Here, we'll finally hit his life. And then we did have Mama, obviously, so even if he didn't rest it there, like, we would have had the answer to it. But this does mean we get to actually go to 10 Dawn. Whereas I think we would have went to 9 without if we used Mama there. So, and then apparently he's on Hody. I think some people are on this, to be fair. It is just weird for sure. It's very all in. We're definitely going to counter this. Just give 1, 2. Swings 8. We're taking 8 because it's either another 8, so we might as well just take the first one because we're not going to counter both. Or it's 5 plus like a Luna. But it is 8. Just give 2, 2. And then from here, actually, like, not 100% sure. what is the correct play, because you're on a risky spot here. It's not like just clean cut like we're winning. Like, I think we're in a good spot. We have to just live the next couple turns, right? I go for the Sokka. I think there's probably an argument to get a Rosie Law. To be honest, I think Rosie Law is just safer. So we'll see. I think I'm pretty sure I had Sokka. So I had Sokka. I decide I want to be greedy and develop the body and yada yada. But Rosie Law also develops the body while replacing itself. Um. So I think what my play here should be after I find the Rosie Law is Departure the attach 1 to Sokka. Departure the Hody, swing 5 at it. I assume it dies 5-0 for sure. Swing 9 at Odin. If he saves it, we can go 8 at Odin. That's 4 cards if he's saving it still, which I'm still not convinced he is, but maybe they are. And then if you want to, you can stop there, or you can keep hitting it depending on how greedy you want to be. But then from there, you can go like leader effect, stage effect, draw 1, cycle 1, Sokka effect, go to 4 Dawn, Mama effect to get more rested Dawn, and then play the Rosie Law so you still have, you play another blocker and you get an active Dawn for your I Love You. Just by cycling the Mama just cuz to get another rested Dawn. So I think that line is actually much safer here than what I end up doing. I just kind of went too quick because again I'm just kind of clicking buttons a lot of the time. I kind of start 8 at here just to see if he's gonna let this die, because once he sees me search Sokka, I assume this Hody's always dead. He should assume it's dead. So I'm kind of curious if he wants to defend this Odin. He decides he doesn't. He probably should. To be honest, he's very all in. He should commit to being all in. Then he goes 5 at it. I go 5 at it. He actually gives 2-2 here because he wants me to swing a blocker. But again, if that's the case, he should have just gave 2-1 or 2-2 for the 8k. Here I am double checking. Like, it is only a 2k next turn. Maybe we float 3 blockers and wait a turn. So I'm just trying to do math. We can cycle that out of our hand right away. And then I'm actually seeing if I can find it. I was searching for exactly I Love You there. Because if we swing a blocker and he has... if we swing a blocker and he has DMG, we need another I Love You to be able to live that, basically. Actually, that's not true, but like... I Love You, with this board, if we swing a blocker and it dies and he DMGs, it'd be 13. Technically, I guess we did have the Dawn already. But like, I Love You just lets us not waste as many resources when we might not technically be able to end the game the next turn. So that's what I was searching for, and I was able to find it. So then we decided to just swing it. I just went 8. I'm just like, guarantee it dies. I'll float 2 blockers. If he doesn't commit with DMG, we can just chump block whatever swing he does. And then if anything, if we have to, we can search for a Borsa with Suru. Which like feels bad, but it's probably worth it in this type of board state. He goes Perona, finds a law on Beppo. Perona into DMG is basically the same math for lethal because he can rest Perona instead of a Dawn, so it doesn't actually make his lethal math any worse. Once he finds law on Beppo, I guess he decides he just needs to send it. If he Luna's here, I think that is like reasonable, but again, we just counter 10, and then if we find Borsa, he's cooked, right? So he sends 13. I'm just double checking that we have 2k laws in trash. We do. Then I just give a 1k. You could, I mean, also hard top deck the Borsa. Yeah, so I mean, they were very all in that game, but like this is kind of similar to how it was when I was playing against UG in my UG video. When they play all in, you just have to play Don't Die. You know, just play the survival lines. And again, I think this one turn Departure Rosi would have been better than Sokka here for the reasons I said. But all worked out. It's all fine. Here we got the next game. I think I actually decided to keep this because this deck is very greedy and doesn't ever counter the first 5. this deck can't really play around Riplaw in the long term, but I think there's an argument that they should be playing around it turn 1, but they just don't. So I just kept this hand because I have Riplaw into Rosie Law into Sakamama, Borsa, you know, it's just everything we want but counter. But we'll find that shortly. So he has stage. So once he has stage again, I am gonna kind of ignore his weenies for the most part. It's pretty hard and wasteful to try and control them at that point, I think. 6, we're obviously taking. I think I'm taking a 5 there as well, but like, kind of depends on my mood. I might be greedy and mama it sometimes. um, takes, we Riplaw. Luna, Beppo, very good hits for us, for sure. Shigi. Yeah, so it's Shigi 5-5. Once he goes 5-5, I kind of do decide again, I'm going to counter with Mama here to stay healthy on hand. And also because it's a Tsushigi, we assume that'll be sideways on our Sokka turn most of the time. And I think I actually decided to stay healthy here because I don't necessarily need to rush to 2. When next turn, I assume I'm gonna get my Rosie Law Odin, and then I'll probably take like a 7 from the Tsushigi, maybe even like a 7 from neither. So kind of stay at 3 this turn. Stage. I think I add Rosie Searcher, and I think it's definitely the correct add. Because another Rip Law would be good still, but also we really want to find a 2K Law. I do decide to swing my Rip Law here. I do love chunk blocking with this thing, but it's so early that I'm down to get some cards with it before I block with it later. But yeah, we're starting to find a 2K Law. We could take out one of Heal Law, but Rip Law is just King Kong in this matchup. Shout out people. Luckily he misses Odin, so that's really good for us. Take, and then we actually find the card, and it's just good here, right? Like we just clear his board. So why, why trigger it when I can just pop 2 bodies next turn and float and I love you? We are bricked, which is unfortunate. This much is true. If he swings 5 here, we actually give the Riplaw, I think, unfortunately. But he actually just goes pop or Riplaw, which you can't really save in the spot because we need the life to pop 2, right? So I'm gonna start 2 at the Perona, 5 at life, and then I'm just gonna pop both. Again, lucky he missed Mihawk. I think I should stage here, but I think I decided I shouldn't ever be dead here, so I can just stage next turn when I hopefully have more Dawn to do it. Because I do technically need to get some Dawn so I can afford to leave up Dawn for these I love yous. We do find a 2K Law, which is very, very nice. Mihawk Odin, swing 9. I definitely consider countering this, and I think it would be very fair to. But I decide against it. So you know what? I can just play Borsa this turn. These aren't going to be sideways. I don't have Mama. I can just play Borsa, heal back up. And long term, it'll be more card efficient to not counter that 9. He really wanted the Rosie gone. Fair enough. Swing 5. If he takes, we can just go Borsa Riplaw. Which is what I decided to do. You could make an argument that I should be like playing Promo Law and filtering with stage because Riplaw has counter. And honestly, that might be better. It might be safer. But I see Riplaw, I play Riplaw. I don't know. If I can rip 2 cards, I'm ripping 2 cards. And then here again, I finally decide to filter. I think it's a, if we did it last turn, this turn we would have been like 1 Dawn again instead of 2. But again, probably maybe waiting was fine, but probably should have played Promolaw, and then Riplaw is still probably live next turn. So I think it was just incorrect to play Riplaw that turn. Should play Promo, keep the counter in hand, and stay a little bit healthier on Dawn with the Promolaw. It's probably a better play than what I did. Then he's figuring out what he wants to trash off the Mihawk. I think I do just decide to counter this with I Love You. Need to use these eventually. I think you could also argue to just block that, but does go to Shigi. Pretty sure I just block here, or okay, no, I just counter it again. Okay. Then just counter that. Okay. I think maybe should have just blocked the 7, to be fair. But here we are. Here I kind of wanted to threaten lethal, because technically we could send lethal. But here's 3 Dawn up. And just not the most... I don't feel like we need to. Like, I didn't sit here and do math. I could sit here and do the math right now. But to be honest, I don't... Okay, you know what? Fuck. I have 8 Dawn. It's 888. Or, like, there's probably other math you could do, but... Either way, he has to counter 2 more 8s. Which... If he has 2 events, like, is not that hard. Obviously, he could just be bricked. Could be bluffs. But I just don't feel the need to go for it, basically. I think it's fine to not go for it. I will say there's probably much better lines I could have done to live here. For starters, I should just hit Kinemon over this technically, because we're always going for game next turn. I think. I mean, assuming we're always going for game next turn, I should hit Kinemon instead of this, because it's actually bigger than the one. But this also like lets him filter, so who knows? There. And it's probably fine to hit this actually, just because it does let him take a card deep. And then I do want to float 2 Dawn over playing this Permalaw, so we still have a brick in hand, unfortunately. I'm not sure if maybe it's better to just play promo and keep the 2 I Love Yous. I think it's kind of the same, to be honest, though. 2 more blockers in exchange for 1 7k swing. Yeah, it's probably better to play promo and trash the Sokka. And we have no bricks in hand. He still has a 7k swing that can filter, but we're also wider to make lethal like more secured next turn. We have no bricks in hand. Yeah, it's probably just better that way. Here, the third card is obviously DMG. And they have the option of just resting my 2 blockers or my Dawn. I think the proper way to counter around DMG here when they do it like this, because they do often hold DMG in spots like these to see if they should rest your blockers or Dawn. I'm not entirely sure it's correct. I think they should just straight up rest your blockers. Like always. But if they do hold it like this, I do this, get a 2k and then a 1k. So I basically convert that Dawn and that card from a 1k into a 2k. Hold on, let me rethink this through based on how this plays out. Might be talking on my ass. I give. You know what? Yeah, I am talking on my ass. Alright. I mean, you do that, but like, it's still. I was thinking it's better to block this swing, but I actually think it's the same either way. Um, but I think they should like. If one of those Dons are a bluff, then he's fucking up holding the DMG, right? So he should definitely like just start DMG rest my blockers. I don't know why he's ever being fancy like that. Um, Here he goes 9 with Odin. And like we can counter 9 obviously, but then we die to split with the Kinemon. Even if he had the 1k Mihawk, we still die to the split. Um it wouldn't be as good for them. But we just need a 1k out of life. But unfortunately it's a brick, so we do die. Well, I do think if we just played double blocker law instead of Sokka there, we're probably fine. He probably has to use like a 4-fun to try and get rid of one of them. And then it's like more Dawn used on his part. So I think just playing double blocker law over Sokka would have been better there. So still a very close game. I think the event came in like to stabilize a little bit with a rough start that we had. And then we misplayed a couple times. This should have been double blocker instead of Sokka. And then, I mean, arguably should have just blocked the 7, but that probably doesn't make a big difference, to be honest, in the long run. I think that was pretty much the main misplays there. Even if I think countering this 7 and 5 is still fine, because we still have the blocker for next turn theoretically. Obviously got DMG'd, but that's like he would have had something to DMG, so that doesn't really make a difference. The big thing was we should have played double. Well, one we could have went for it, but like I'm not one to go for it when I'm pretty sure we can live, and we literally were 1k off. And also like looking at his hand, I don't know what he drew for turn obviously, but like decent chance he could live. Actually, I guess if it was DMG plus these two, he could live, right? Actually, no, he couldn't. He was dead actually, because he didn't have a card to rest for the 4th one outside of another Dawn, right? Oh no, he did. He could have rested Tashiki. So yeah, he did technically have exacts to live. If he top decked the coffin belt. But who knows? Maybe he already had that and he was dead, and I just chickened out. Either way, I think we should have won. Again, just needed 1k, or should have played double blocker law. But not a big deal. Learning, learning from mistakes. And another reason, like I said, why I like to do these videos, because I watch them back. Normally, it's been like, before I started doing this YouTube stuff, I haven't like watched back my own videos to get better since like set 4. Like my own games, I haven't started watch my own gameplay to get better since like set 4. To be honest, I kind of just like play and go through the motions, and like I think about my mistakes in real time, but I never watch them back really. But yeah, so this is good for me for that as well. We can go on to the final game. This is a really good hand, assuming we can find stuff. I do like how they balance this Kinemon, by the way. I'm still not even sure it does suck bottoming 2 Rosi Laws, but we have 2 Navy searches, so I'm kind of fine to take our play for next turn before we take the Rosi Law, just because we have 2 Navy searches. But to be honest, if you have no Navy searches, you just take Rosi Law here for sure and just skip on 4. Or if you have 1 Navy searches, where it becomes a question. 2 Navy searches, I'm down to skip these, and I'll probably still find a 3rd. 0 Navy searches, I'm just gonna take this. And then 1 is kind of the question mark. I'm not actually sure. If I only had 1 Navy Searcher, I would probably still take the play for next turn and hope I find the play on 6. I'm just greedy like that. I could probably be convinced though that it's not correct. We do find the Rosi Law. Bottoming 2 stage, unfortunately, and a Borsa. But we have the Rosi Law, right? So we can't really complain. And we still have another Navy Searcher to try and find a stage. 6, find the stage. 25. When we search promo law, they probably don't have to respect Rip Law. But like, technically I could have done it right, but I can just do it later. I don't want to disrupt my curve that much. I'd like to go to 8 Dawn for Sokka instead of 7. We do find stage, develop that, find a 2K, find an I Love You. But I do think you could counter these early swings. Like, it might be correct to give a 2K for that 6 there. I don't think it's bad. I think it's probably, honestly, I think it probably is correct. But I kind of like taking first hit, just out of habit. And then here, remember last time when they did this, we punched this twice. It is definitely a very different spot. One, we didn't Riplaw him. Well, one, we didn't starve him, right? So he took the life. He also just Samurai, so he has more cards. And then we'll also have I Love You this time. Which is another reason why I like taking the first life to... Because this is like... Something people don't understand is that you need to find good turns to use I Love You. And against Goofy, this is actually like the turn to use I Love You. For example, like I usually like to be at 2 Dawn on my Rosi... 2 life on my Rosi Law turn against Goofy. Because the turns after that, I find it hard to leave Dawn up for a little bit. Whereas your 6 Dawn turn, or like even your 5 Dawn turn, it's much easier to leave a Dawn up for the I Love You. Although 5 Dawn, you're not going to be at 2 yet, because they probably swung once. But you might, I guess. It depends what they did. But yeah, so for those reasons, I'm not really... And also because we have Riplaw, I have other ways to get the cards out of his hand. I'm actually not too concerned about punching the Tashigi here. He has no stage, and we have weenies, so might as well punch his. Obviously, this means the event later is just going to be like almost impossible to make live, but just can't always play for it. I start 5 because I'm down to float 2 I Love Yous this turn, just in case, whatever happens. I kind of like really want to sit at 2 this turn. Unless he goes like a 9. Like anything smaller than a 9, I'm down to counter next turn though. I might even counter a 9 because I have mamas, so who knows. I go 5. If he counters at 5, I'll probably send 7 at Tashigi to start poking cards out of hand earlier. Or still at 4 life. But once he takes, just put him to 2. Get the pressure on. Rosi Law. And pass with 2 up. Now we have Sokka Riplaw next turn, which means you won't have Dawn active, which is why we want to use our Dawn this turn. But that doesn't mean we just waste them, right? Like, we still free block when we can. Still need to have a lot in trash to get back. Still Mama when we can, because we definitely don't need 2 Mamas, so this is our last turn to try and get value off of those as well. Unless, of course, we could always Sokka Riplaw. And after that, we'd go to 7, go to 9, go to 8, go to 7, and then we could stage back to 6. So if you Sokka Riplaw on 8, you can technically stage to make Mama alive again for another turn, as far as the free counter goes. He puts it sideways. It's probably no diff. We have Mama, but even if you don't, it's like fine for him because he already has a Tashigi. He's gonna put sideways anyway. Obviously, I prefer to hit the Mihawk because it filters. Here, Mama 2K. Unfortunately, this event is just never live here. I just give another Mama. Just keep as many cards. So as much as I would like to use the I Love Yous that turn, again, can't waste them. So like I Mama 2K the 7 because I want to use my Mamas and I don't have a law on trash for the I Love Yous. And then if he goes bigger, I'll go another I Love You. Like if he goes a 6, if he goes anything bigger than 5. But once he goes 5, like yeah, that's just another Mama cycle for free as well. So here we start Sokka. He does Luna our entire board, which is fine. You don't really care if they Luna you this early. I do decide go 2. If he, I don't know if he knows about that I have Whiplaw, but if he's like big brain and goes like 1-1 here, uh, Sag. So honestly, I think I should just start Whiplaw, just to be safe, in case he goes 1-1. Like maybe there's a world where they do that. Um, but yeah, so he did give a 2K, I guess. Why? Sure. I don't really agree, but maybe he was planning to save it, assuming I didn't rip 2 cards out of his hand. And then here, looking at it, I'm actually like thinking about how I can make this event live next turn. So we have 5, obviously he has 3, but if I can block and he double develops with a Mihawk, this would actually be live. So I think next turn I'm looking to probably uh Black Rope Dragon Twister, I think is what it's called. I'm looking to event one of these. I'm looking to event and probably chunk block with this and then float a bunch of Dawn for I love yous. Um, so with that in mind, we can also get punished by other cards by not blocking right away. But like theoretically, that's because he didn't properly sequence. But I think either way, like it's not necessarily properly sequenced though, because there's also like maybe if we take, he then decides to do some you can't rest the law shenanigans because I took the 1. Whereas if I counter, he might not care as much. Basically, I'm saying I think I should block this 7. I think it is like kind of the same. I don't expect the other 2 swings to both be bigger than 7. If he goes 7 again, you could argue to 2-1 it. That way you can stay at 1 if it kills like a 9 after. So here he actually has Mihawk, but nothing to play with it, I guess. So it's kind of awkward for me. Because obviously that's really bad for him, but then I'm looking at it like, well, wait a second. My event's not going to be live even if I block now. And again, once people start like thinking of this event, it could just become bad. This is just my current like tech for the deck and it's working. And it might stay in the list, it might not. It just depends how the meta develops and how people start playing into it. But then he plays a Perona. So I think if you're cognizant of this event and you want to respect it at all, you just like don't play Perona. But again, people aren't really aware of. I mean, this guy. This is like the 4th, 5th, 6th time I played him like today. Like he's aware I'm on this event, so he's just not thinking about it or he doesn't respect it or whatever. So either way, we see him at Luna. That's actually like very fine for me. I don't care if he stuns my board again, really. Because you do the math. If he's gonna Luna, it's just gonna be a 6 and a 7. So we only have to give 1 card, block the 7, and then we get to blow up 2 and pretty much stabilize. Yeah. So here we just snap this, hit Mihawk Tashigi, stage the filter. I actually trying to debate what I want to do here. Can't really make Whiplaw live. Like you could swing a 5, and if they take, you could swing an 8. Then like you could argue, yeah, I'm gonna rip 2 now. But like at the same time, if you do that and they take both, they're probably dead next turn anyway. So it's still probably better to just like trash the brick, float, and play the brick. So I think like the real questions here is like, am I trying to play Rosi Law and float 1 Dawn, which is a little sketchy in the DMG, or am I trying to play Promo Law and float 2 Dawn, which is like safer in the DMG, or am I just trying to just float Dawn? I think it's definitely not Rosi Law. You can still hold on to Rosi Law for next turn, but I don't think that's probably correct. You probably just trash Rosi Law here. Because we have such a dominant board state, right? We're just trying to stabilize and not die right away. But I decided to trash the promo log because I decided to go with the line where I'm playing nothing. I go 5, and if he takes, I go 9. And if that ever lives, it's fine because I think I'm still fine with the I love yous. If he DMGs, we still have 1 I love you. And I think we can counter 1 swing. He'd have 9 Dawn, 9, 17, 21, 10, 11. So like we can still counter 1 swing if he does DMG. So that's why I decided I'd rather just float all the Dawn to be safe instead of playing the promo law. So I think that line is also fine. So yeah, I guess you can keep Rosi Law over promo if you are going for this line. Does draw 2 more, swing 9. I'm just gonna kind of try to poke this turn. Play Borsa, stage, see if we draw another Borsa, but we're not quite that good. And then from here, just play the Rosi Law. 3 blockers, 2 Dawn is definitely more than enough. I don't need to float Dawn for every single I love you. And we have Kobe's to find more Borsas for next turn. So just chunk block the Beppo. I think I even decided to chunk block. Yeah, he swings 9, so I just chunk block again because I'm not sending it. Like you could send it probably. But I have 4 I love yous in hand now. I think it might be correct to just go 9, play Kobe, and try and find a Borsa. But I decided go 11. It kind of looks like I'm sending it, and it'll make Ripple alive while letting me be defensive. So I go 11, expecting him to take. If he gives me 2 cards, it's also still really good for me, right? At that point, I'll just play Kobe and try to find Borsa still. But he takes, so I just go Whiplaw, Rip 2. Probably stage effect, because hand could improve. Sure, we draw 2k, get rid of a 1k, and then just pass with 6 Dawn up. Maybe I'm supposed to swing a 7 with leader there. I just didn't feel like it mattered, so I was just... If I live this turn, I think I win. But probably should swing 7 with leader. But here, now we just counter some swings. We have infinite counter, obviously. I'm just seeing if I can use another I love you right now, if I have another 2k. I do. Like, if he Lunas us and can counter 15, I guess he's just better. And technically there's probably some hands that can do that, to where we could have played this a little better. Like, again, if he swung 7 with our leader last turn. But I just don't expect them to ever do that. And yeah. So this one went on a little longer than I expected. But yeah, once again, just wanted to show off the card that's been helping me so far. Again, I don't generally like event removal. So like, once meta adapts and players start adapting the playstyle, maybe this card comes right back out. But for now, I took out a 2k, a Rosi Searcher, and Soslo for it, and it's felt fine. I felt in this meta, especially with all the green, it's even harder to leave up 2 Dawn for Soslo. I think also with this we do make our NL matchup worse, basically because we got rid of the Soslo and the Weenie. But this card has still come up against NL sometimes. But also NL is a matchup where you pretty much win or lose based on how good the NL is anyway, to where your list doesn't matter too much. But yeah, so that's the list. Been working, and any questions, feel free to leave in the comment. Peace.